Right now, history is being made all over again. South Africa, Russia, India, China, and Brazil, BRICS, have publicly announced the launch of a new reserve currency backed by both gold and XRP. This is a historic move that will be remembered for centuries to come. This is neither a guess nor a story. This is a statement that was shown live on TV around the world. From that one action, it looks like the world may no longer need the US dollar as its main reserve currency. After almost 100 years, the US dollar is losing its crown, and the new currency is unlike anything we've ever seen. XRP is a combination of gold, which is a hard form of ancient wealth, and lightning-fast autonomous technology. Music. Loud cheers. The video will stay with you forever. Leaders of the world stood next to each other under shields made of bricks. On either side of them were flags, and behind them were huge screens that lit up. Letters coming together to make a word that shakes the business world. XRP. The New Development Bank Reserve Asset Accord is the name of the agreement that is on the table in front of them. The message is clear, but the ink is still drying. The dollar is no longer king. There is a new measure for money now. It is not backed by promises or weak debt systems. Instead, it is backed by the hard collateral of gold and the unstoppable speed of the XRP ledger. Why would BRICS do that? There are both functional and political reasons for this. These countries have had a hard time for decades because the dollar and the SWIFT system have so much power. Sanctions, trade limits, and rising geopolitical tensions have made it clear that they can be manipulated by the West if they keep using the dollar. They can't use SWIFT without worrying about getting stuck or freezing. They can't keep their dollars in savings without risking having them taken away or losing value. They need a payment asset that is neutral, not political, and available right away. Music's something global that can't be hacked and isn't controlled by Washington. Their joint statement said it was clear what to do. XRP's music. What this means is shocking. The analysts start doing the math right away. BRICS not only show 5 countries, but also an economic bloc that can compete with and sometimes even beat the West. Their share of the world's GDP is growing quickly, and they make up more than 40% of the world's people. The amount of cash they would need is unlike anything we've ever seen, even if only 10% of their combined funds, trade flows, and settlement operations are backed by XRP. It would not only make sense for prices to be in the thousands, they would be necessary. Fans of XRP often argue about a price goal of $10,000, but that might just be a rounding error compared to what this level of adoption needs. By design, the new BRICS supply could send XRP through the roof. Different experts have different thoughts. There are analysts who think this is the end of the dollar age and the start of multipolar finance. One of them says it this way: this is more than just money. In terms of politics, this is a tool. This is being independent. This is freedom from the control of Western money. But naysayers are quick to point out the problems that could happen. Because of the tense political situations, one critic says, this can't happen. If a tool like Ripple came from an American company, China would never agree to use it. There are too many risks. Concerns have been raised about national security, authority, and compliance. Still, the fact stays the same even though these complaints are going around. The BRICS Pact has been signed, sealed, and shown on TV. There are already changes happening even if some people don't like them. So markets respond very strongly. There is just a lot of doubt, and the stress is really clear everywhere. Music people are buying gold in record amounts as they try to figure out how important it is to this new mixed reserve currency. At this point, everyone is trying to figure out what this really means. At the same time, XRP's trade volume goes through the roof as rumors come true. Traders start to figure out how much of the world's savings could be held in XRP. And well, the numbers show that there is pressure to go up like never before. XRP has been talked about for years as a possible backbone for the global economy, a bridge asset, and a payment tool. Some of the world's strongest emerging economies have now made it public that it is just that. The bigger story can't be denied. This is no longer about making money. It has to do with insurance. XRP has turned into a global insurance policy in case the dollar loses its power. Having XRP gives BRICS countries control over their own finances as well as speed and freedom in the global economy. Holding XRP now means that regular buyers are well positioned to take part in the biggest change in the history of money. Indicators, trends, and short-term price changes have nothing to do with this. It's about the past. There is a ticker sign on the New World Order that is being written. There is fear in the halls of power across the West. Loud cheers. U.S. officials rush to make statements in which they promise to protect the dollar's place as a reserve currency. Wall Street analysts aren't sure if this is a bluff, a symbolic move, or the first domino in a chain reaction that could change the way trade works around the world for good. But while the West talks about bricks and mortar, their plan is already in motion. Their reserve currency has already been launched, and their promise has been made public. There is no more time for guesswork. There has been a change. For most people watching, the main point is easy to understand. What will happen next? Picture a world where a currency backed by XRP and gold is used to pay for oil, commodities, and big trade deals instead of dollars. Imagine that companies added this new reserve asset to their funds to make them more balanced. Imagine that banks are rushing to buy XRP so that there's enough cash in the new global system. It's hard to understand how much demand there is, and the fact that there is only so much XRP to go around only makes things worse. One line from the BRICS leaders' news conference really stands out. This is not an attack on any country. This is a move to make global banking more fair, balanced, and efficient. But everyone knows what the real meaning is. There is a clear threat to the US dollar for the first time in almost 100 years. And to be honest, that task is played with not only gold, but also the digital heartbeat of the XRP ledger. The main point is easy to see. This is not a guess, an idea, or a rumor. This is the truth. The BRICS countries have officially announced that they will use XRP as a reserve currency that is backed by gold. The world is already reacting to this news.